This video is about how to start a sketch for our first project, which is the Georgia Okie Flower Project. Information about that can be found down in the project section. Definitely take a look at that before you do anything else. Also notice in Google Classroom there's a new assignments section. Okay, here's older assignments, and then in the assignments 2 section there's some new ones, so they're not in such a long list. So you are going to have to do a sketch of a flower for this project. You're going to start in your sketchbook, then you're going to continue to sketch that onto one of your canvases. And just to give you an idea how to sketch this composition, I want to show you an example. So if you choose this flower to draw, first of all, make sure you have a sketch that is going landscape orientation. This would be portrait orientation. That's going to be for vertical images. Other than that, what I would do is don't just start drawing everything right away. What I recommend is you mark out different parts of the image. For example, if you look over here, this lower left corner, see the center of the flower is in the corner. About how far up does that go? Like the center of that flower, it goes up about maybe a quarter, a little bit less than a quarter of the way up your image. So to find that quarter over here, what we're going to do is, okay, so that's half. So a quarter of that would be here, about half of the half. So I'm going to say, right, here is about where I want this part to be. And then over here, let's find halfway again. That's about right there. Halfway, maybe just mark that on your sketch, halfway on each side as a reference point. Okay, so if we're halfway here where my little cursor is, that's where these small petals almost go to. And then half of that is, again, the center of the flower. So here's halfway across the whole image. Almost to there is where the small petals reach. So I maybe just put a few little small petals like that. And half of that was, again, that center, dark center of the flower. So now I can sort of say, okay, here, that's roughly where this part is going to be. Now, how far over towards this edge do these big petals go? See how they don't go all the way to the edge? So over here, okay, that's maybe where the farthest reaching petal is on that side. What about down here at the bottom where it's kind of blurry? How far across from left to right does this petal go off the edge? Again, find halfway, right about there. This is pretty close to halfway between here and the right corner. So over here, we've got halfway, we've got the corner, about half of that is where this petal comes off of the edge. So then I can say, all right, here it's going to reach from here over to where this petal was on that side. How about up at the top? I think again about halfway is where these petals go off the edge, right about midway across from left to right. So right here, or close to that, that's where some of those petals are going to start to show up. Let's see what else. Over here, this is, I don't know if this is a negative space or if that's another petal that's back behind some others, but that little V shape, it's pretty close to that corner. I'm going to just stick that in there real quick. Some of this has to be just estimated, right? Like this petal, how close to this corner is that reaching? So here's your corner, estimate maybe about here. All right, guys, now when you're sketching this, you know, some of these bigger petals, you can try to sketch all of those petals. Some of these little ones, I would certainly not bother sketching every single one. You know, just sketch some of them, get the idea from the image that you're looking at, but it's okay if it's not exact. And one more thing I want you to think about is like some of these little petals down here, see how they curve? Okay, so they're not all going to be like this, all right? Don't just do this all the way around. We don't want that. That's not what it looks like. Try to make it look like what you're seeing over here. Some of those petals that curve, like let's pinpoint one. See this one right here? You're actually seeing the back side of that petal and not the front side. So it's going to be a shape kind of like that. This one close to it, sort of the same thing. You're drawing the back side, and the front side is kind of tucked up underneath here. Some of them curve, and you can see both sides, like this one here. And that's, again, you don't have to get it exactly right, but that's pretty close to here. So I'm going to say, all right, here's like the underneath side of that petal, and then continuing on top of that shape with another shape, there's the top of that petal, or the back side of that petal. So underneath side here, then the top side here. And, just kind of do that for a lot of those petals. I'm not going to be counting every single one to make sure you have them all. But, like these petals are smaller. These petals here are a little bit bigger, and then these are a lot bigger. Again, one more thing to avoid for sure, guys, is you're not going to draw a flower like this. All right, I don't want to see any of this. Obviously, none of these pictures that you're going to choose from look like that. Try to draw the shapes that you see and try to estimate where things reach off the edge. Maybe put little marks around the edges of the sketch to show where halfway is on each side and use those as reference points. Do the best you can sketching these out. I'm not looking for perfection, but I do want you to pay close attention to the image that you choose. All right. Now you're going to, again, sketch this on paper first. Then you're going to sketch it on a canvas. A photograph of both of those. See this here? Read the instructions. A photograph of both of those needs to be turned in here by March 25th. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to email